Just before dawn on March 26th, Baltimore was rocked by a catastrophe straight out of a disaster movie. Imagine a cargo ship as heavy as a skyscraper laid on its side, losing all power and barreling uncontrollably toward the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The impact was immense, equivalent to the weight of nearly 15 blue whales crashing into the structure. This wasn't just any accident. It was a monumental collapse that shook the city to its core. Today, we're bringing you the chilling story from one of the survivors, Julio Cervantes, who faced death as the bridge crumbled beneath him. But that's just the beginning. We'll also uncover the intense efforts of rescue and recovery teams, delve into the complex cleanup operation, and reveal intriguing actions by the FBI, including the jamming of signals during the crisis. Welcome to our channel, where we dive deep into the stories behind the headlines and the hidden truths of pivotal moments. The early hours of March 26th would forever change the landscape and lives of many in Baltimore. The Dali, a colossal cargo ship laden with containers, suddenly found itself powerless and at the mercy of the currents. With no ability to steer or slow down, it became a massive projectile headed straight for the Francis Scott Key Bridge. As the ship struck the bridge's support pylon, the impact was immediate and devastating. The bridge, an iconic symbol of Baltimore's infrastructure and a daily passage for thousands, could not withstand the force. In a matter of seconds, a crucial section of the bridge buckled and succumbed to gravity, plunging into the cold waters of the Patapsco River below. Among those affected was Julio Cervantes, a construction worker who had been repairing potholes on the bridge during a night shift. The collapse caught him and his colleagues off guard during their break. Trapped in their vehicles on the very structure that was disintegrating around them, there was absolutely no warning. One of Julio's attorneys, Chris Stewart, recounted his client's words during a press conference. One moment everything was stable, and the next the bridge was giving way beneath them. With the structure crumbling around him, Julio's car began to sink into the cold Patapsco River. The situation was dire, but Julio's quick thinking in the face of imminent peril saved his life. He fought for his life, and he survived, attorney Justin Miller emphasized, highlighting the gravity of the moment. He survived because his window was manual. He was able to roll down the window and escape. Stewart explained further. Once free from the car, though not knowing how to swim, Julio managed to cling to a piece of drifting steel. This floating piece of debris became his lifeline as he struggled against the river's icy grip. Stewart noted the deep emotional and mental scars left on Julio, who endured not only a brush with death but also the loss of some family members who were working alongside him and did not survive. They were living the American dream, fixing America's infrastructure. Stewart said, lamenting the tragedy as all preventable. Julio's escape from the collapsing bridge is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of emergency preparedness. His tale is a vivid first-hand account of survival against all odds and serves as a critical narrative in understanding the full impact of the bridge collapse on individual lives and the broader community. Before the disastrous collision, concerns about the Dali's seaworthiness had already been raised, painting a troubling picture of negligence and corporate oversight failures. The city of Baltimore, reeling from the tragedy and its aftermath, took legal action against the operators of the Dali, accusing them of negligence that led to the catastrophic bridge collapse. According to the lawsuit filed by the city, the Dali was clearly unseaworthy with an incompetent crew at the helm. These were not minor oversights. The ship had been experiencing inconsistent power supply issues that were either ignored or inadequately addressed. Despite these significant safety concerns, the Dali was allowed to leave port, putting everyone in its path at risk. The lawsuit vividly outlines how the Dali, managed by Synergy Marine and owned by Grace Ocean Private Limited, should never have been in operation under those conditions. The crew lacked proper training and was inattentive to its duties, further compounding the risks. This case of gross negligence and recklessness, highlighted by the city's legal team, points to a deeper issue within certain segments of the maritime industry, where profit margins often take precedence over people's safety and environmental considerations. As the city filed for a jury trial, hoping to hold the defendants fully accountable, the legal battle underscored the broader implications of corporate responsibility and regulatory oversight in maritime operations. The bridge's collapse was not just a physical breakdown, but also a stark failure of systems that are supposed to protect the public and ensure the safe conduct of maritime activities. In the wake of the bridge's destruction, the port of Baltimore faced significant disruptions. The busiest maritime transit port in the region saw its capacity drastically reduced, severely impacting local and national commerce. Efforts to establish temporary channels were underway, but these could only sustain a fraction of the usual commercial activity, highlighting the extensive economic ripple effects of the collapse. Before we delve into the aftermath of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse, let's explore the intricate and international backdrop of the MV Dali, a vessel woven into a web of global maritime operations. Chartered by a Danish company, built in Korea, owned and managed by Singapore-based firms Grace Ocean Private Limited and Synergy Maritime respectively, the ship carried a crew from India, was piloted by Baltimore professionals during the incident, and fueled by supplies sourced from China and Korea. This diverse blend underscores the complexities and challenges of maintaining consistent safety standards across various jurisdictions. The Dali's involvement in the bridge collapse is part of a troubling pattern for Synergy Maritime, which has previously faced legal consequences for safety lapses. Back in 2015, Synergy Maritime was fined $10,000 for violating air quality regulations in California when one of their vessels, the Seoul Kuala Lumpur, failed to switch to compliant distillate fuel upon entering regulated California waters. This past infraction sheds light on ongoing regulatory challenges and operational oversights within the company. In the shadow of the towering cranes and amidst the twisted wreckage of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, an unexpected player has emerged in the form of an FBI vehicle stationed strategically on what remains of the bridge. Equipped with a range of high-tech gear, including antennas and a pneumatic mast similar to those used by news crews, this federal black vehicle sparks more questions than answers. The FBI's presence at the site isn't just for show. Speculation suggests that the vehicle's sophisticated setup is intended for jamming communications, specifically targeting drones. In the aftermath of the bridge collapse, drone activity surged, with various entities eager to capture aerial footage of the disaster and the ongoing recovery efforts. However, the use of drones in disaster zones is not without risk. They can interfere with rescue and recovery operations, pose hazards to crewed aircraft in the area, and potentially compromise the security of the operation. This secretive aspect of the FBI's operation feeds into broader concerns about surveillance and control, especially in a situation fraught with public and media attention. It raises significant questions about the balance between operational security and transparency, especially in a disaster scenario where public interest is high and the stakes for safety and efficient recovery are high. As the recovery operations continue at the site of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore, the Chesapeake 1000 crane emerges as a central figure in the massive effort to clear the debris and salvage what remains. This past weekend was a testament to the sheer capability and engineering might of this incredible machine, as it managed to haul another significant piece of the bridge, a slightly smaller truss section compared to its previous loads, yet substantial in its own right. The Chesapeake 1000 is not just any crane, it represents the pinnacle of salvage technology. Equipped with a sophisticated ballasting system, it can adjust its buoyancy to counterbalance the heavy loads it lifts, a crucial feature when handling massive structures like bridge trusses. This ability not only prevents the crane from tipping, but also ensures that the load remains stable during transport. The sight of such a large section being maneuvered with precision by the crane, hanging over the water all the way to Sparrows Point, has been an awe-inspiring scene for onlookers and professionals alike. Moreover, the crane is equipped with one of the largest salvage grabs seen in recent times, a 200-ton hydraulic behemoth capable of grappling massive chunks of debris. This grab recently completed a week-long journey from Galveston, Texas, and is now stationed at Sparrows Point, ready to tackle the formidable task of dismantling the Francis Scott Key Bridge wreckage. With a capacity of 1,000 metric tons, this tool is designed not just to lift, but to also cut through the dense metal trusses as if they were paper, a feature that remains speculative but highly anticipated among the recovery crew. The recovery at the Francis Scott Key Bridge is more than just a technical challenge. It's a critical endeavor that holds the attention of the entire city, and indeed the nation, as they watch how modern engineering tackles one of the most significant collapses in recent history. With each move of the Chesapeake 1000, a piece of the puzzle is lifted, sorted, and moved away, slowly piecing together the path to restoration and resilience. As we reflect on the recent tragedy of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore, it's insightful to consider similar historical incidents. These events underscore the vulnerabilities and risks at the intersections of maritime and civil engineering and emphasize the critical need for stringent safety protocols. Here, we delve deeper into several notable maritime collisions with bridges, exploring the issues that led to these disasters and the consequent lessons learned. The Sunshine Skyway Bridge collapse. 1980. On a stormy morning on May 9, 1980, the MV Summit Venture, a massive freighter, was navigating the Tampa Bay when it was caught in a sudden, intense squall. The storm reduced visibility to near zero and the ship's radar failed at a crucial moment. The pilot, struggling with the vessel's controls and facing fierce winds, was unable to prevent the freighter from colliding with the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. This catastrophic impact caused a 1,200-foot section of the bridge to collapse, resulting in the deaths of 35 people as vehicles plunged into the waters below. In response to this disaster, the new Sunshine Skyway Bridge was designed with reinforced barriers and modernized navigation aids, significantly enhancing the safety measures to prevent similar incidents. The Queen Isabella Causeway Collapse, 2001. Late at night on September 15, 2001, the Queen Isabella Causeway, Texas's vital link to South Padre Island, was struck by a string of barges. The barge pilot misjudged the currents and his proximity to the bridge due to a lack of adequate lighting and outdated navigational equipment. This misjudgment led to the barges ramming into the causeway, causing a portion of the bridge to give way and sending several vehicles into the water, resulting in 8 fatalities. This tragedy prompted significant improvements in maritime and bridge safety in the area, including enhanced lighting, better emergency protocols, and rigorous training for barge operators to handle similar situations effectively. The I-40 Bridge Disaster, 2002. The I-40 bridge over the Arkansas River disaster unfolded when a barge pushed by a towboat struck the bridge's piers. This collision was due to the towboat captain suffering a medical emergency, specifically a blackout, which left the vessel uncontrolled. The lack of immediate backup and automated navigation systems led to the uncontrolled barge hitting the bridge, causing a section of it to collapse and resulting in the deaths of 14 people. The aftermath of this disaster saw a push for enhanced safety protocols, including mandatory health screenings for pilots and technological upgrades to ensure vessels could be controlled or stopped automatically in emergencies. As we move forward, it is crucial that we learn from these incidents. The historical precedents, like those of the Sunshine Skyway and Queen Isabella Causeway collapses, show that while technological and regulatory improvements have been made, the potential for disaster remains, often exacerbated by overlooked risks or delayed maintenance. This bridge collapse in Baltimore is a stark reminder that safety must never be an afterthought. It challenges us to advocate for and implement robust safety measures that can prevent future tragedies. As a society, we must prioritize the lives and safety of those who depend on the integrity of our infrastructure every day. Ultimately, this incident is not just about a failure of a bridge or a ship's unfortunate path. It's about how we, as a community and a nation, respond to and recover from such setbacks. It's about ensuring accountability, learning from our mistakes, and building a safer, more resilient future for everyone. This tragedy, while heart-wrenching, offers valuable lessons that we must heed as we continue to navigate the complexities of a world that relies heavily on intricate, often vulnerable systems of transportation and commerce. The personal story of Julio Cervantes, a survivor of the collapse, brings a human face to the disaster, reminding us of the personal and collective resilience that often emerges in the face of such crises. His miraculous survival and the tragic losses he endured highlight the deep emotional and societal impact of such events, which ripple out far beyond the immediate physical damage. The subsequent investigations and the unfolding legal battles point to broader systemic issues within the maritime and infrastructure sectors. These include the need for better oversight, stricter enforcement of safety protocols, and a re-evaluation of how risks are managed. The involvement of the FBI, with its focus on securing the site and possibly jamming drone frequencies, illustrates the complex interplay of privacy, security, and public interest in modern disaster responses. Thank you for watching. If this video was informative, please like, comment, and consider subscribing for more in-depth analysis. Your support helps us bring these important stories to light.